good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. If you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance because you consciously and conscientiously tuned into Eye on Las Vegas with your humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. Notice I didn't say the ambassador of joy. The ambassador of joy. And you tuned in for one reason only. Best reason in the whole world, because you care the most in the entire world about you. Y-O-U. And that's great, because when you become the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love. And you're going to be wowed today. It's especially interesting because we live at the moment, we moved from California. We were able to escape. And we moved to a place called Henderson, Nevada, which is just outside of Las Vegas and the Strip and such. So whenever I mention two words, Las Vegas, people open up their eyes, lean in, and say, tell me more. Why? Not just because Las Vegas is about sex and gambling. Okay, how's that? It's really a place of energy, of entrepreneurial success, of things happening here outside the normal. And that's what makes Las Vegas such an amazing, interesting place to be. That's why people are attracted to this place. Let me tell you one data point that I think will fascinate you. If you take the entire population of New York City, and everybody lives around it, the entire population of Chicago, everybody lives around it, the entire population of Los Angeles, everybody around it, and add in the entire population of the state of Florida, it doesn't equal the number of people that come to Las Vegas in any given year. 41 plus million people come here. Why? Because it's a place where things can happen, do happen, and you don't want it to stay here because it affects the entire world. You're going to be infected by the entire world by one of the most interesting people ever had the pleasure of meeting. So without further ado, please say hello to wonderful, amazing, fabulous Mike ter Maat. Mike, please say hello to 519,811 people around the world.
It's great to be with you, Barry. I think that introduction is probably setting the bar a little high, but I appreciate that. Your enthusiasm brings enthusiasm to my own soul, so I'm really glad to be with you.
And we're glad that you're here. If I started telling you all the things that Mike has accomplished thus far and about to accomplish in the future, take the rest of the show. It's all in the show notes. I'm going to give you 3 data points. Number 1, this man never sits still. He has vision, he cares about America, and he wants this country to be eminently successful in every aspect of it, physically, mentally, and spiritually. That's why he's invested his time, his energy, and his life in being a police officer, being involved in learning about finance, about politics, and such. He has advanced degrees in aeronautical engineering and from an MBA from RPI and George Washington University. Again, he doesn't sit still. He's going to announce something here on this show that's just going to rip open what's happening, right? Because we're celebrating the 250th anniversary of our country. And he's going to do something that's never been done before. So get ready. And the other most wonderful thing is married, 4 children, a dog, and a truck, or 2 dogs and a truck. Okay, Mike, without any more ado, let's just jump right in and talk about what it is that you do with the Republican Liberty Caucus. Okay, that's a mouthful.
Thank you. The Republican Liberty Caucus is an old caucus inside of the Republican Party. We are absolutely part of the Republican Party. This is a caucus that was begun in the 90s with folks like Ron Paul. A lot of folks in your listening audience will remember Dr. Paul and the Ron Paul Revolution. This was a group of liberty-minded folks, libertarian-minded folks who believed that the best path to getting American politics on the right track would be inside of the Republican Party, and so created this caucus, which has stood the test of time and stands for what I think when I was growing up, we would have called the basics of the Republican Party, which is to say adherence to the Constitution and fiscal conservatism, promoting free markets. We believe in a less militaristically interventionist foreign policy. I think the last couple of decades suggest that Americans are ready for that. And I think the caucus does a good job of standing up for your medical freedom, something I wish we had taken more seriously 10 and 20 and 30 and 40 years ago, but we have learned over the last several years that this is as important an issue field as any.
So let's unpack a few things, because again, remember, we have a worldwide audience. We have people from Baluchistan, from Nepal, from the Congo, from Argentina, and throughout the United States of America who don't understand the basics. I want to talk about that in just a moment. I want to unpack two things. I'm always mentioning, and I have another podcast called The Joy of Living, which also has over 500,000 people. And what we urge you to do is continue to send your family and friends, because we'll always have another 15, 20,000 people every week coming. Share this with 5 people. You want to share with 50 or 100, great. But 5 people you care about, that's what makes the difference. Now we can touch 2.5 million people. And I tell people, everybody wants to live in America, but you don't have to physically live here. What you want is an American mindset. Everybody has access to read Milton Friedman, Ayn Rand, et cetera, et cetera. So let's talk about the B word. And I mean, the B word is, yes, it's beautiful, it's bountiful, it's beneficent. Basics. Give us 3 what you call basics of the Republican Liberty Caucus.
The idea of the basics, let's pick fiscal conservatism, for example. It means that our government has to spend less money. Milton Friedman, you invoked his name. I'll lean into that. Friedman is the economist from the University of Chicago who taught us that all spending by the government winds up coming out of your pocket one way or another. Eventually it comes out in either taxes or interest payments that you're going to make on debt, right? Or it comes out in the form of inflation. But one way or another, you bear the costs of all of the expenses, all of the spending that your government engages in, whether that's at the local level, the state level, or the federal level. And this is one of the big reasons why it costs so much to live in the United States now, because there is so much money taken out of our economy in the form of taxation, not only from your pocket, but from the pocket of corporations and investors, institutions, all of which makes it more difficult for you to get by. As another example, we believe that adherence to the Constitution is absolutely critical. We stand up for your First Amendment rights. We don't believe the government should be intervening in what it is that people have a right to say. As a matter of fact, we go so far as to suggest the government shouldn't even cling itself to the idea that it has the right to comment on what it is that people say and how they express themselves, whether that's a protest or a podcast like yours or late night television or anything else. It's just not the government's business what we say to each other and what we say in public. And then another one that I would mention, we stand up for your gun rights. We stand up for your Fourth Amendment rights against unreasonable search and seizure. And so we've always talked about putting a check on what authority we allow to the police. And as a cop for 11 and a half years in South Florida, I know that police officers mean well, right? But enthusiasm being what it is, we need to make sure that officers are trained in the basics of the Constitution and always respect our individual liberty.
Okay, let's unpack some of this, because again, everybody in the world wants to be in America. You don't have
and you should.
Right. We're talking about the basics. Let's unpack these 3 basics again. Number 1, and it is number 1, fiscal conservatism in the form of less government spending. The less the government spends, the less you need to feed the beast, and which means it's not going to take money from the you, whether the you is the individual, the corporation, the investors, etc. Number 2, like I said, adherence to the Constitution. Now, almost every country in the world these days, including totalitarian countries, has a constitution. However, as Justice Scalia was so eloquent in saying, well, yes, they have it on paper. We have it as a living, breathing document that actually means something. And then, of course, the beginning Constitution is the Bill of Rights, the 10 basic amendments. And one of them is, as you pointed out, such a thing as gun rights. Now, gun rights in the United States of America is an immeasurable privilege and right that cannot be abrogated, because once that happens, we do not have a potentially open, free society. Is that fair to say, Mike?
I think it's fair to say one of the reasons we stand up for your gun rights is because of the Constitution. One of the reasons we stand up for your gun rights is, as you point out, protection against all contingencies, the right to take care of your family, the right to take care of your institutions and your schools, right? The right to protect everybody that is important to you and to protect your own person. And another reason we stand up for your gun rights is because there is such a thing as allowing the government to go an inch and watching them take first a foot and then a yard and then a mile. And that's why we believe it's important to stand against government overreach. The other thing that needs to be said, Bear, I know this is a big, robust debate in the United States, and I think it's a debate worth having because we all lament the extent to which that we have violence in the United States, the extent to which we have guns involved in violence in the United States, plenty of violence without guns, plenty of violence with guns. There is an important debate to be had, but I think it's important for us to point out that there is no real reason to believe that if we allow the government to regulate our access, our legal people's legal access to legal guns, that all of a sudden, we would be able to take a bite out of crime. I think that we need to harden our targets, protect our kids, protect the vulnerable, and do an even better job of moving our culture in a less violent direction.
Okay, I want to make mention, everybody, one of the reasons Mike is here today, in addition to the fact that I'm enamored of his policies and his personality, is because he's going to be speaking at a remarkable group that's called Freedom Fest. Yes, Fest stands for festival. Freedom Fest is going to be taking place the second week in July 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th in Las Vegas. And it is really a gathering and a full spectrum of ideas and personalities and information, and most importantly, transformation, the ability for people to get together at Freedom Fest. And I urge everybody, again, if you're anywhere near the area, meaning within 1,000 miles, even 3,000 miles, make time to come. It's really something special. It will warm the cockles of your heart if you can find them. It will engage your soul. It will expand your mind. Mike is going to be speaking. He's going to be making a major announcement there. And part of that announcement is he's actually given us the ability to talk about it right now. And one of the things that's going to happen is our country is celebrating. When I say our country, again, I mean for the world. Everybody loves America. Everybody loves America, even those people who lament it. They love America. And they love the idea of America and the reality of America. 250 years this experiment is going on. And it will always, I'm making the statement, Mike, I'd like you to comment on it. It will always have ups and downs, bumps in the road, struggle. That's the nature of life. Now, before we ask you to comment on that, we have sponsors that love our show. So don't go away. We'll be right back after this brief message. Mike ter Maat. He's amazing. Be right back. Don't go away. Good day. Beautiful, bound with love and all beings and good-looking people. Maybe good-looking. So I was looking for and finding the good. We have good in abundance. Our cup runneth over with good. His name is Mike ter Maat, and he is making a major announcement at Freedom Fest, which everybody should at least be aware of. You can access it online. You should come there if you can. It is an expression of the American soul. It's what we're about. Is that fair to say, Mike?
I think it is fair to say the United States of America is like no other nation on earth. It's interesting, Barry, you and I have not discussed this in the past, but I sense that you and I feel the same way. America is the world's most culturally tolerant nation. It is the world's least racist nation. It is the world's most economically innovative nation. Our history being one of immigration, being one of westward expansion, being one that led the way in developing the Constitution and demonstrating to the world what a republic democracy looks like, has given us a unique perspective and a unique platform on which to stand. If we continue, and that's not to say, to your point, we've had ups and downs and we will have ups and downs. The big one is the struggle that it took us to overcome slavery. It took hundreds and hundreds of years from the time this continent was founded by westward expansion from Europe to overcome slavery. And we're still dealing with the remnants and trying to overcome the last vestiges of racism in this country. But to the extent to which we lean into what makes us special and unique, the next century will belong to America every bit as much as the last century has belonged to us. It is not a coincidence that we are the economic dominant power on this planet.
So this is so important that you intertwine economics and a soul. When I say a soul, it means the soul of America, like you pointed out, the least racist country in the world. Okay, other issues? Hello. I have a good friend who was fond of quoting something many, many years ago. A very smart man. Actually, he got me to read a book called The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire when I was 15 years old. He was a distant cousin. And one of the things he used to say is, if you want to hate America, watch the news. If you want to love America, drive across the country. Drive across this great country. Meet people. I mean, it's not just that it's a huge country physically. It is diverse in every aspect, geographically, humanity, and industries, et cetera, et cetera. This is the place where, again, everybody wants to be here. Why? Because it's an engine of good. This is the ultimate place of good, and it's still an experiment. Is that fair to say, Mike?
I think it is an experiment. I think it is fair to say it is an engine of good. And the reason for that is because people are engines for good. And to the extent to which we can keep the government out of our face and allow us to do what it is that we do in different ways in different places, then we will generate as much good as we possibly can. That is the high water mark. That is the gold standard for generating good, when you allow lots and lots of different types of people with lots of different interests interact in an environment of freedom. And I was so glad to hear you say that to experience America, it really helps to drive across it. I live in Eastern Virginia, out in the middle of nowhere in the woods. It's wonderful and secluded. I have met with people in North Carolina in the last few days, and then Alabama. I spent several days at the Texas convention of the Republican Party. I met yesterday with folks from Tennessee and from Arkansas. I'm on my way to Chicago. I'm going to be at the Indiana State Convention of the Republican Party. I'll meet with Republican Liberty Caucus folks in Michigan, folks in Cleveland, before I make it back to Virginia in my, I don't know if I'm allowed to say brand names, but let's just say an old pickup truck.
Again, which with a shotgun in the back and a dog by his side, hunting dog by his side.
The dog's at home with my wife, but the shotgun is underneath the seat, yes.
Right, well, she's riding shotgun, and that's the best one they can have. So part of what we want to ask you to do is, and again, part of the idea that America is innovative. What is it you are going to announce? What do you really want to do? You're going to run for a special kind of office? We're going to give it a new name? What's the name of the office you're going to run?
This is an announcement we are going to be making on July 9. This is going to be a national campaign. It's going to be a campaign inside of the Republican Party. It's going to be a campaign that has never been attempted in 250 years of American political history. It is going to help us, I believe, to the extent to which we're successful getting the word out. It'll help lots of folks think through some of the processes in which we engage today. how it is that politics works today. And I will be campaigning on the idea of changing a couple of those things. I'm sorry to tease the specifics of the campaign, but folks that are in Vegas at Freedom Fest on July 9 will be able to learn more about it. And we'll have not only a main stage presentation, but a breakout session to go over the details if folks want to get involved. As a matter of fact, if folks want to, who can hear me today, would like to get involved, I'll even, if you reach out to me by email or by phone, you can go to my website, you can reach out to me.
By the way, everything is in the show notes. You don't have to write anything down.
Perfect.
And those of you who are watching are seeing a dynamic man who has invested his life into the love of this country and what it stands for. And what he wants to do is to make sure that it's here for his children, grandchildren, ad infinitum. And by the same token, if you're not watching, just listening, you hear a voice that is strong, clear, positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. And that's really what America is about. He's not raging against the storm. He's not yelling. He's not shaking his fist. What he's doing is speaking people. He's talking the language of people, which, by the way, Milton Friedman was so good at, right?
He was very, very down-to-earth guy, and he had a wonderful co-author in his wife who helped him stay down to earth. So it's a great combination.
Yes. And again, everything is in the show notes. If you're not familiar yet with Milton Friedman, and again, in the show notes, Freedman and his wife, then you need to acquaint yourself. Again, no matter where you live in the world. You could be living in Pakistan. It doesn't matter. Okay, keep it sub rosa. If you're living anywhere in the United States of America, it's fully open. Again, part of the unique aspect of the United States of America is what we call the flag. It's an acronym. We love acronyms. So an acronym for the word flag stands for freedom, liberty, allegiance, gratitude. Those are the fundamental, basic aspects of what this country is built upon. Is that fair to say, Mike?
It is fair to say. I love the acronym. I especially love gratitude. The faith environment in which I was raised always emphasized gratitude. We have so much, as you know, Barry, your enthusiastic joy is an homage to the gratitude that you have and that we all must have. We have so much to be grateful for, both in terms of our faith and in terms of the principles by which our nation was founded. And we have, Barry, it has to be said, we must be grateful for the opportunity to work toward making the lives of those around us better. People who deserve better than to have their lives screwed up by stupid decisions made by people in Washington, D.C.
It's not only refreshing, it's uplifting. And he uses the big O word. The essence of the American spirit is in the letter O. Opportunity. That's what exists here. Secretary of Treasury Bessent recently spoke about the idea of foster care and foster children. And he made mention of something really beautiful. One of the most interesting people that came out of the revolution and helped put our country on the path to success was a man named Alexander Hamilton. Well, everybody knows Hamilton today because of the play and such like that. He came from the West Indies, came to America, fought in the revolution, and gave his genius to this country because he saw that this was a place of opportunity. And he was, for want of a better term, a bastard child, a foster care child. And he recognized this is the land of liberty. This is a place where everybody can contribute. And that's really, I think, a great word also. We talked about fiscal conservatism, the Constitution, contribution. Think not, as John Kennedy said, John Kennedy, who would be a great Republican libertarian today. That's not what your country can do for you. That's what you can do for your country. It still rings true, doesn't it, Mike?
It absolutely does, and we need to be grateful for that opportunity. You mentioned also the word allegiance. It is to this set of principles, including opportunity, that we should be pledging our allegiance, not to particular individuals, not even to a state. It is to a state of mind. It is to a set of principles, and thereby to each other, to allow each other to grow into the opportunity that is at our feet, at your feet, at all of ours. We just need to learn how to grab it and help each other grab each other's opportunity.
And this only exists in a place where freedom rings out, the liberty bell. It does not exist in totalitarian societies. It does not exist in communist societies, which oftentimes are the same. It does not exist in religiously oppressive societies. It only exists where human beings, free men and women, can stand up, join hands, work together for the benefit of all. To have that mindset, I'm here to serve. That's who you are, Mike. Okay, I'm a bit loath to say these words. We're coming to a close on our time together, and just want to ask you 3 quick questions. Are you ready, sir?
Ready.
Number 1, will you come back again?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I want to come back again on the other side of our announcement so we can talk about it, because I really think it's interesting, much more interesting than I am.
Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, Mike ter Maat, you have only 80 seconds to answer this. What is your most fervent desire?
To see my children live in freedom.
That is wonderful. I wish everybody in the world would say it, feel it, and act upon it. Number 3, Mike, may I give you a hug in front of 527,916 people around the world?
Yes, I'm in Southern Illinois at the moment. You'd have to have long arms, or it will have to be metaphorical.
Let me tell you what HUG stands for. Heartfelt, unlimited giving. 1, 2, 3. Remember, you're listening to Eye on Las Vegas with your hump host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. Amazing Mike ter Maat. He's going to be at Freedom Fest, July 8th through the 11th. Try and be there mentally, physically, spiritually. And what blessing from Mike and from Barry. Go forth. Live exuberantly. Spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Mike, don't go away.